Alright, so let's begin. If you couldn't truly know anything, could you truly know something? The obvious answer seems like, no. How could I know something if I didn't know anything? That's a contradiction. But what if it wasn't a contradiction, but an implication? By the way, I'm Daniel. You might know me from Trip Tips, but that and a whole bunch of other really unique events inevitably led me to make a channel for the serious truth seekers. Here we're going to talk about things that you won't find in other places. So getting straight into it, one of my first experiences of not knowing was rediscovering what Socrates said. The idea that no one can truly know anything. No one can have absolute certainty. After all, we're basically monkeys. And yeah, we are basically monkeys. But then, as that monkey, how do I know that I don't know? Because that would be saying that I must know something, that something being that I don't know. So if you know that you don't know, like Socrates, there's a problem here. Why not use the same argument that we're monkey-like to say that I don't even know whether I don't know? It actually takes the monkey argument further, right? So how far can we go with it? At the very start of the video, I said that if you didn't know anything, you might be able to know something. But I didn't mean it how Socrates meant it. That would just be rearranging the words. We're actually going to take not knowing so far as a thought experiment that it leaves open the door for knowing anything and even everything without contradiction. Be careful here. I'm not saying this guarantees certainty, but I'll show you how it somehow manages to stay possible. And I've also formalized the logic on a free page in the pinned comment and in the description if you're interested. I welcome you to poke these videos for holes or blind spots. If you succeed, I'll add those pokes to that page for all of us to see. So let's keep going with an ever further not knowing and see what happens. I don't know whether I don't know, whether I don't know, whether I don't. It's a freefall. But this freefall ultimately doesn't just go down a straight line. The problem with a straight line or linear freefall is if I'm saying I know the freefall is an infinite line of I don't knows, I'm claiming to know something again. I'm claiming to know the shape of my own ignorance. That would just be a higher order version of what Socrates said. Instead of Socrates, I know I don't know, we would just be saying, I know the infinite regress of I don't knows. That's still not far enough. We want to see what it means to truly max out our uncertainty. So let's visualize what it would actually look like to be more uncertain. What if this ever further line of I don't knows can actually branch out in more directions, and by directions, I mean spatial dimensions. Bear with me, this seems complex, but when you get it, the video is going to be so trippy, it will be well worth it. So what if I say, I don't know what I don't know, what I don't know, what I don't, etc. forever? That's a line. But what if I don't know that whole hypothetical line? Where am I questioning that from? It can't be from inside the line itself. That would be like finding a number in the number line that encapsulates all the other numbers. Since it can't be from a point further down the line, I have to take a perpendicular step. And that's where we get a second dimension of uncertainty. Now, instead of a 1D line of uncertainty, we have a 2D shape of it. Otherwise, even with that previous line, we'd still have certainty in that second dimension. That's not enough. We would still ultimately know something, and we want to truly not know anything at all, like I said at the start. Think of it as if the entire freefall itself starts to freefall in a new direction. So let's keep going. If I'm uncertain about that whole 2D shape, now I have a 3D shape of uncertainty, 4D, 5D, and so on. Now we're getting somewhere, because if we're uncertain in every possible dimension, then there's nowhere left for certainty, right? We're defining every dimension to be encompassed by a further dimension of uncertainty. Already, you can't look away from how many unique layers and ways there are to try and interpret or convey I don't know, and how much actual room for error there is when communicating, even with precise language. Let's now enter the ridiculous phase of this video that swings back with insane clarity. If I really truly didn't know anything, not at a surface level where I know some things and don't know others, but all the way down this spectrum and then the next and then the next, etc., then I can't possibly know how to record a YouTube video, right? It definitely sounds that way. This is where we come back to the start of the video, where in this absolute uncertainty, we somehow find the potential for knowledge. The logic's actually quite simple once you get it. If I don't know anything, then I know nothing, so for all I know, which is nothing, maybe I might know something. If it was true that I can't actually know anything at all, then I can't actually know that I can't know anything. And that's why it can't stop at me definitely not knowing how to record a YouTube video, because I can't know that statement itself to be true. I can't actually know whether I don't know how to record a YouTube video. And I can't know that, and I can't know that, and so on. So while we started by assuming absolutely zero certainty, what it means to stay there still leaves room for knowledge and certainty, because to stay there is to admit that having zero certainty is only one of many options. This lack of certainty, despite literally sitting here, feeling myself recording a video, is one of my core foundational messages for what this channel will become, because sure, there's strong evidence that I do know how to record a video, so it's not like I don't believe it. I do believe I can record a YouTube video, but there's also this awareness of this context I'm in where I'm in this free-falling freefall that could overwrite what I currently think, no matter what it is. There's maybe always this potential I'm delusional. So while I believe I can record a video, I also believe I could be wrong about even my belief about my ability to record a video, even if I see it go live on YouTube. That's how far this goes. And it might sound kind of silly, why go that far? And I'll tell you why to go so far. The reason to go so far that it's nonsensical is that I'm still going further than that. I'm not stopping where it's nonsensical. We're going to go past nonsensical and it's going to make sense. I'm literally going so far into uncertainty that I'm still open to absolute certainty. I'm not stopping before that point and saying, let's be open-minded so much that we can't believe in absolute certainty. No, that's not far enough to be coherent. The coherence is found beyond that, where I'm not rejecting absolute certainty despite accepting absolute uncertainty. Now, fair warning, some people might misinterpret this and use it as a justification to selectively choose what we don't know, to validate their own beliefs or for some other reason. But to do that is to get stuck at that nonsensical point from before. It just won't be made as obvious as I tried to make it. That's the opposite of what this channel is about. We can and have to be selective with our beliefs, but that's still compatible with the belief that everything is ultimately just a maybe, or maybe it isn't a maybe. That last part is what finally brings us full circle, and where certainty and uncertainty merge, maybe. So, let's stay curious together. For those of you still watching, I'm not just here to grow another YouTube channel. I'm here for straight cold wisdom. Most people want friends who will have their back in a fist fight. I'm here to find people who have my back against my own ignorance and my own blind spots. I'm tired of living in a world where validating delusion isn't seen as the toxic poison that it actually is for those of us who don't want that. I'm launching a project to help fill in our blind spots, my own included, like wet cement. These videos are gonna get crazier, but they aren't the real project. They're just the shadow that the real project is casting. What I'm really doing here is a search party. If you want more than just appearances, that's really you, then we need each other because it's not common yet to be like this, and I don't want to go extinct. Stay tuned because we're finally building a home for people like us.